Good evening. It's Wednesday, March 25th. Thanks for joining us tonight. I'm Maya Trabulsi. We are awaiting our daily update from the county on local cases of COVID-19. Here's what's happening right now as new steps are taken to help those who cannot work. Governor Newsom says the state's unemployment claims now top 1 million. The stimulus plan in Congress would increase the amount of money people will get, and we'll have more on that in a moment. Here in San Diego, though, Mayor Kevin Faulconer just spoke about the City Council finalizing an eviction moratorium and a small business relief fund.
Any business with 100 employees or less is eligible as long as they can prove economic hardship due to the COVID-19 and have a city business license and have been in operation for at least 6 months. So I encourage all businesses that meet that criteria to apply starting this Friday at 5 p.m.
Another big headline today came from Governor Newsom offering some peace of mind for homeowners. He says 200 state-chartered banks and 4 national banks will provide a grace period for mortgage payments and foreclosures.
And I'm very pleased that Wells Fargo, U.S. Bank, Citi, and J.P. Morgan Chase have all agreed to 90-day waiver of payments for those that have been impacted by COVID-19.
An update on the quarantine situation at MCAS Miramar. The county says the operation will wrap up tomorrow. Several hundred cruise ship passengers have been staying there to complete a 14-day quarantine. As for the larger picture, there are 242 cases in San Diego County, and those numbers will be updated this evening. The White House and Senate have reached a historic deal to provide much-needed aid to Americans during the coronavirus crisis. Now, senators are working to fix some last-minute snags that threaten to keep it from passing. Camila Bernal has the details from Washington.
As the coronavirus pandemic grips the nation, the White House and Senate struck a deal for the biggest economic relief package in modern American history.
The Senate is going to stand together, act together, and pass this historic relief package today.
The plan, worth more than $2 trillion, is expected to give critical help to American families, businesses forced to close, and hospitals struggling to fight the spread of the virus.
In effect, this is a wartime level of investment into our nation.
Most people would get checks up to $1,200, and married couples could see up to $2,400 depending on household income. An additional $500 would be sent for every child. It also significantly boosts unemployment insurance benefits and provides billions of dollars worth of loans for distressed companies and small businesses.
To all Americans, I say, help is on the way, big help and quick help.
The stimulus plan must go through both houses of Congress before reaching President Trump, who has indicated he will sign an approved deal into law. But the goal is to get this much-needed money into the hands of American people quickly. Camila Bernal, KPBS News.
San Diego Unified says it has a plan to transition to distance learning for the rest of the school year. Teachers will begin formal lessons with graded assignments on April 27th. A soft launch will begin on April 6th. During that time, teachers will receive training and provide non-graded instruction. The district will provide computers to those who need them. School sites will remain closed until public health officials say they are safe to reopen. And with schools shut down for the foreseeable future, those in the most remote parts of the county are struggling to get their students on the internet. KPBS education reporter Joe Hong spent time at some rural school districts to see how they're serving their students.
How are you?
David McLeod is the superintendent of Warner Unified School District. It's San Diego County's smallest K-12 school district, serving about 200 students total. The district is surrounded by mountains in the northeastern part of the county. Cell phone reception can be spotty, and internet access is limited.
Well, maybe, yeah, you can right out there where the clouds are. You see that hill? So that broadcasts to this whole valley. But if you're over and in any of these little ravines, you don't get a direct signal. And then there's cell towers, but they're like narrow along the highway, and if you're off the highway, you get no reception.
While some districts are relying on online instruction, Warner Unified is going old school. Rudy Mercado is a sophomore at Warner High.
It's mostly packets because out here, just like barely any like internet connection, as you could say. And yeah, so mostly packets.
Luckily, McLeod and his team started preparing early, about 4 weeks before schools started to close.
Well, I don't want to sound like a crazy person, but being a science teacher, I taught about the Spanish flu and when bird flu was happening and stuff. When I was a teacher currently in the classroom, we used those as discussion points to lead off instruction. So I always follow that.
Teachers had packets ready to go the day the county announced the school closures. On the other side of the county is the Jamul Delzura Elementary School District, which serves a sparsely populated community in eastern San Diego. Elizabeth Bystad is the superintendent. She said she's been flooded with calls in recent weeks from educational technology companies offering help with distance learning.
And then it's a lot of fielding questions from parents and emails, and it's amazing how many emails are coming from vendors all over in order to try and support schools, which is wonderful. But they're inundating at the same time.
Jamul Delzura students also went home with packets. But both districts are working to purchase hotspots, which would allow students in remote areas to get an internet connection.
Our technology department is working with vendors trying to get some hotspots that we could check out to families who don't have internet. We have Chromebooks. We have enough Chromebooks. So it's really the issue of making sure that if we give them a Chromebook, they could actually use the Chromebook.
Apart from academics, these districts are also trying to keep students fed while schools are closed. Jamul Delzura has partnered with the Grossmont School District to distribute food. At Warner, about 85% of students are low income. Since schools closed last week, McLeod has been hand-delivering meals to students who live in Lake Henshaw Resort, a trailer park about 10 minutes from the district office. But it's not just the students who need food in this community.
So it's just so many people from the community are like, hey, could you give us food too? So.
Are you able to buy for them? Or?
We do buy extra, so, and you know, like if we have extra milk, it's gonna expire, so we give that out. We have fruit that's gonna go bad. So I only brought a little bit because I only expected 7, and what was there, 15 or 16 different families here. So I'm gonna go back and see if I can come back and give them some fruit. So just tell them.
McLeod has hoped this would last for just a few weeks, but now he's preparing for a much longer ordeal. Joe Hong, KPBS News.
And we also want to remind you about a partnership between KPBS and the San Diego Unified School District. It's called At Home Learning, where children matter. Just by turning on the TV to KPBS2 or any of the channels that you see on your screen, students can watch PBS content that's designed by their grade level on a block schedule. Grades pre-K through 3rd grade can watch from 6 to 8 a.m. Grades 4 through 8 can watch from 8 to 1 p.m. And then high school content will be broadcast from 1 to 6 p.m. There's also an online library that can be accessed on any smartphone, tablet, or computer, and that is at pbslearningmedia.org. You've probably seen long lines at your corner market, so take a look at this Costco in Santee, where seniors more than 1,500 deep waited in line for the early shopping hours. Stores doing everything they can during this pandemic, from special hours to extra measures to keep shelves stocked. Today, Target announced it's cleaning checkouts after each transaction, keeping customers at a distance and suspending plastic bag fees in order to keep from using the reusable ones customers bring in. The pandemic is leading to critical shortages for local hospitals, shortages like protective equipment for healthcare workers and blood for patients. KPBS reporter Matt Hoffman shows us efforts to try to help with both.
It's great how San Diegans come together in a crisis.
Thank you. You too. Stay safe.
We ordered way too many gloves, and I thought, we got to get rid of some of these. So I called Sharp Hospital, and I said, could you use a couple boxes of gloves?
Sharp Healthcare is looking for the community's help right now.
Globally, there is a short supply of PPE, personal protective equipment, such as masks that our caregivers need to protect themselves and our patients.
Healthcare officials are asking for donations at 4 drop-off sites throughout the county.
Disposable face masks. There's the N95 masks that, again, the construction industry might have. There are disposable booties for the feet. There's gowns that we're looking for.
And San Diegans are answering the call.
Healthcare workers, I mean, they're at the front lines, the doctors and the nurses, and everybody else that works at a hospital or clinic, I guess they need N95 masks, so I had 2 in the garage. I'm glad I donated. I mean, it's a measly 2, but 2 is better than none.
I have a friend who works for Sharp, and so she told me about the place, and I came over. We had face masks from, I don't know, a few years ago. I just bought them and left them in the garage.
Blood is also in short supply right now. The Red Cross says they've had to cancel more than 300 blood drives in Southern California due to the coronavirus. Now they're trying to set up as many as they can quickly to keep a steady supply of blood here in San Diego County.
We've lost our high schools and our colleges. So that's making these drives a little more busy, which is awesome.
The American Red Cross is taking precautions during the coronavirus outbreak, including temperature checks before drawing blood. Still, some are concerned about keeping a 6 feet social distance inside the bloodmobiles, but the call for blood donations has inspired many.
I've never donated before. It's my first time, but I've just heard with the whole coronavirus that a lot of people who typically donate aren't able to, and I thought it would be a good time to donate. Just trying to do my part, however big or small it may be.
The Red Cross is urging people to book appointments online right now. Sharp Healthcare will continue collecting personal protective equipment for the foreseeable future. If you're thinking to yourself, I don't have face shields or masks inside my house, they are looking for much more than that. Some things that you might have around your home that they need right now include hand sanitizer, gloves, and cleaning wipes. Matt Hoffman, KPBS News.
And Sharp Healthcare is temporarily closing some locations this week in an effort to save on supplies during this pandemic. The La Mesa West and Point Loma locations will close tomorrow, Thursday, March 26th. The Chula Vista location will be only offering occupational medicine, pharmacy, and urgent care starting Friday, March 27th. The sites will reopen once the outbreak is over. Biotech companies in California are not included on Governor Newsom's list of essential businesses when he issued the stay-at-home order. KPBS science and technology reporter Shalina Chatlani says some industry leaders think that should change.
Biotechs are common throughout Southern California, and Joe Panetta, CEO of the industry group Biocom, says many of them simply cannot stop their work.
We don't have any clear and specific language yet from the state of California as to how many of our various types of biotech companies can be allowing their employees to work during this time.
Some companies like Inovio have been deemed essential because they're working on a coronavirus vaccine or producing medical supplies for healthcare workers.
But in addition, there are companies that are developing products that in the long term will contribute to ensuring that people stay healthy. So we believe that we need not only to take a short-term approach, but a longer-term approach and to keep our companies developing.
Healthcare officials are asking employers to allow essential workers to practice social distancing. Some concern has already emerged in the media about how that can happen with biotechs, like in this Wall Street Journal article 2 weeks ago that linked a number of coronavirus cases to a strategy meeting among executives from the company Biogen in Boston.
We sent out a broad email to all of our members a couple of days ago to point them to our Coronavirus Resource Center, which contains all of the precautions that companies should be taking.
In the meantime, Panetta says Biocom is also working with biotechs to contribute their personal protective equipment, like masks and gloves, to healthcare facilities across the state.
Well, one of our companies up in the Bay Area was able to provide about 1,500 masks.
And he says biotechs will be sharing much more. Shalina Chatlani, KPBS News.
And we're following all of the latest coronavirus developments for you at kpbs.org. Click on the Tracking COVID-19 link on our homepage and you'll be taken to a page with all of our recent reports. You can find that right now at kpbs.org. It's the perfect weather for staying cozy indoors. We're expecting more rain through tomorrow and could get snow in the mountains as well. Justin Pavic has our forecast.
More changes coming up over the course of the next couple of days. Cool conditions continuing along with showers and some mountain snow into Thursday night, a quieter, milder Friday. And well, we see those changes persisting as we work our way into the weekend. Well, definitely on the unsettled side to our north right now, below average temperatures. We've seen some showers toward the Bay Area and even some snow over the higher terrain along Interstate 80. But we will see precipitation sagging south as we go through time. So again, we're going to be talking about that potential for some wet weather returning. Snowfall amounts will be the highest above 4,000 feet. Most of that's coming into play as we venture our way again into a Thursday. Notice how the precipitation begins to break out here toward the evening hours, but again, cannot rule out some showers, mainly light from Oceanside to San Diego again for tonight, with lows dropping off into the upper 40s and mid 50s. Weather alerts, again, winter weather advisories going into effect again later on this evening and right through again at midnight tomorrow night. And again, most of the accumulation above 4,000 feet, but there will be some impacts here along I-8 through San Diego County, the mountains. We'll be talking about that potential again for a coating to an inch of snow around Julian. Higher amounts as we go up over 4,000 feet. And you can see the impacts here as well, even along the 15 toward Cajon Pass. All right, let's talk about those conditions then, shall we, for tomorrow. Again, we'll be following some of the wet conditions again around Oceanside and also towards San Diego. Temperatures topping off in the low 60s. And then out east, as I mentioned, there will be some developing snow over the higher terrain as that big dip in the jet stream continues to keep conditions on the unsettled side. Let's go down the road, and we will start to see a break on Friday. Sunshine returning to the coast, a couple of showers on Sunday, and then a warm-up early next week. Inland, most of the wet weather here on Thursday. Brightening skies on Friday and warming up next week. Mountainous terrain looking at a shower. Higher terrain looking at the snow above, again, 3,500 feet. Desert locations warming up next week. For KPBS News, I'm meteorologist Justin Pavic.
The coronavirus has upended all of our lives, and for San Diego's immigrant communities, it can be especially tough. KPBS reporter John Carroll explains why San Diego's Somali community is pleading for help.
San Diego is home to the second largest Somali community in the United States, some 10,000 strong. The community is located in City Heights. It's primarily low income, and now, thanks to the coronavirus, life here is more difficult than ever.
A white star against a blue background. That's the flag of Somalia. And this is the heart of the Somali community in San Diego. They call it Little Mogadishu, a tight-knit community that has a very big barrier when it comes to asking for help.
Our people are limited of language skills. Their lack of language skills, and nobody will understand them about the issues that they have.
The Somali Bantu Association helps members of the community with translation. But in this time of crisis, as people are losing their jobs, the association is becoming overwhelmed in providing the things people here need to survive.
A rental assistant that will be helping with the food, water, and medical supplies.
The Somali Bantu Association is working on partnering with the United Way, but that hasn't happened just yet. They need assistance right now. They've got all the information on what they need and how you can help on their webpage, sbaoa.org. John Carroll, KPBS News.
The impact of coronavirus on San Diego's economy is a long way from being determined, but the pandemic has already affected industries throughout the city, including one that helped define the region. iNewsSource reporter Brad Racino explains.
San Diego, once called the tuna capital of the world, is home to some 130 commercial fishermen who bring in millions of pounds of fish each year. Restaurants buy the vast majority of what these fishermen catch, but with the COVID-19 outbreak, those sales are all but shut down. Their main outlet now? The Saturday Fish Market on San Diego Bay. Hundreds of people turned out Saturday to purchase fresh fish from the fleet. The market is allowed to remain open under the state's executive order, but some of the fishermen we spoke with worry sales from the market alone may not be enough to keep them afloat.
So our wholesalers aren't buying because most of the customers they have are restaurants. So the only sales we have right now are directly to consumer. But it's hard when if you catch thousands of pounds of fish to sell to a consumer.
Some of the fishermen I spoke with along the California coast aren't sure about their next move, but are confident they're going to find a way to get through this. For KPBS, I'm iNewsSource reporter Brad Racino.
And to see how other waterfronts along the coast are faring with the effect of coronavirus, go to iNewsSource.org. iNewsSource is an independent nonprofit partner of KPBS. And you've likely heard it by now. One of the best things you can do to avoid getting sick or spreading COVID-19 is to wash your hands or use hand sanitizer. Mandy Gaither explains why these methods are most effective.
Washing our hands with soap and water is one of the most important things we can do right now to help stop the spread of coronavirus, the flu, and other illnesses. And it does that by breaking down the cells of the virus itself. Underneath the spiky outside of the coronavirus are the outer layers of cells made up of lipids or fats. When you wash dishes covered in fats like grease or butter with only water, nothing happens. The same thing happens to the virus germs, but add soap and the grease, or in this case the lipid layer, breaks down, and that means it can't bind to your skin. Then when you rinse your hands at the end, it washes the virus off. To be completely effective, make sure you're really scrubbing with the soap, building up bubbles, and getting all parts of your hands and under your nails for 20 seconds. If you're out and about, hand sanitizer with 60% alcohol can be used to sanitize your hands as well. But just like with traditional washing, you really need to rub the sanitizer all over your hands. And while it kills the virus, it's not rinsing it off like with water. So if your hands are extra dirty, it's going to take a lot more sanitizer to clean them. For today's Health Minute, I'm Mandy Gaither.
And thoroughly washing your hands is just one of 5 ways recommended to stop the spread of COVID-19. The others are covering your nose and mouth when you sneeze and cough, avoiding touching your face, practicing social distancing by staying at least 6 feet away from others, and if you're sick, stay home. We've all had to make adjustments to our daily lives to try to stop the spread of coronavirus, but some have also had to make last-minute changes to major life events like weddings. This past weekend, the mother of KPBS photojournalist Andy Duckleth got married. She invited KPBS reporter Priya Sridhar, and together they show you how to do a wedding in the middle of a global pandemic.
I'm going to call Sandra. We better get back to attending some business.
It's supposed to be one of the most important days of your life.
Well, we're getting married.
But today, Beatrice Castaneda and her soon-to-be husband, Rick Keene, have had to modify their celebration.
Obviously, we're affected by the coronavirus issue, so we've got our family and friends online.
The couple had planned a small gathering, but with news of the coronavirus spreading across the globe, they quickly realized that putting their loved ones at risk by flying to attend the ceremony wasn't a good idea. Instead, they set up a Zoom call. Almost 45 family and friends from Mexico, Colorado, California, and even Italy logged in to witness and celebrate.
Rescheduling our wedding would have been really hard for them. So this is the best we could do, and it's so wonderful to have technology. So they are with us here. Here's Erica in Italy, but she's here.
Castaneda's daughter, Erica, watched while under quarantine in Italy, where she moved a few weeks ago to work as a nanny.
It is strange to see my own mom get married on Zoom. She means the universe to me, so her happiness is my happiness too. And I'm really happy she met a guy like Rick.
It was God that first sanctioned that two shall become one.
Despite both families not being able to meet in person, they shared loving words of advice for the newlyweds.
I would just encourage them to remain committed to one another. And when things get tough and times get difficult, to remain committed to one another.
Bring forth the ring.
After being together for 3 years and getting married in the middle of a global pandemic, they say they're confident their love can get them through anything.
She's the sweetest person I've ever met. So I knew, pretty much when I met her that how special she is. It didn't take long.
He's a very caring person, and I knew he was the one for me.
Presenting Mr. and Mrs. Keene.
And they know their support system all over the world has their backs.
Thank you for being here, Arnie, Priya, Andrea.
No matter what life throws at them. Priya Sridhar, KPBS News.
And congratulations to the happy couple. Celebrities are joining in Governor Newsom's call for Californians to stay at home. Will Ferrell says you can still have some fun.
So, since we have to stay at home during this COVID-19 crisis, create your own party, create your own club. right here in the comfort of your own house. Stay safe, everyone. All right, take care. We'll make it through.
And to be clear, he means a party with your family members or your roommates only. The governor also shared a video from Snoop Dogg, who said the longer people stay outside, the longer we'll have to stay inside.
I'm Judy Woodruff tonight on the NewsHour on the front lines, how emergency room doctors are coping with COVID-19. Plus, Speaker Pelosi coming up at 7 after Evening Edition on KPBS.
An update now on our top story. We just got updated numbers on coronavirus cases from the county. There are now 297 cases. Also new, steps at the local, state, and federal level to help Americans get through the coronavirus pandemic. Governor Newsom offered some peace of mind for homeowners. He says 200 state-chartered banks and 4 national banks will provide a grace period for mortgage payments and for foreclosures. Here in San Diego, the City Council finalized an eviction moratorium and a small business relief fund. The White House and the Senate have struck a deal on a $2 trillion stimulus package. Most Americans would get checks up to $1,200. The plan also significantly boosts unemployment insurance benefits and provides billions of dollars in loans for companies and small businesses. It still must pass both houses of Congress. You can find tonight's stories on our website, kpbs.org/evening edition. Thank you for joining us. Stay safe and good night.